Welcome to the 19th Hole podcast brought to you by Central Coast Golf Card. And today we are with General Manager and Savior of Zaca Creek Golf Course, Mike Brown.
Yeah, that seems a stretch.
But the place was going to close down and you decided to take it over.
Well, there's a ton of us. There's a whole bunch of people doing all kinds of great work. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just the head toilet guy.
Well, as a general manager of a golf course such as Zaca Creek, sometimes I'm sure you have to wear many hats, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think for me, that's one of the things I love about the job is the diversity. You know, every day it's something. You have a broken water line, whatever it is, something different every day.
Now, let people that are listening to this podcast know a little bit about your background. Now, you're a little bit golf, a little bit turf guy, right?
Well, I'm from Indiana, grew up in the Midwest, and then my dad's owned golf courses my whole life, 9-hole public courses, so I grew up mowing greens and picking the range and working inside, and I did my internship with the PGA through his partner, but it wasn't really for me, so I went snowboarding, moved to Aspen, moved to Oregon, became a snowboard instructor, kind of chased those.
Did you live in Bend?
I did.
Yeah?
I did.
What was that like?
I was a bachelor. Bend's fantastic. It was before I'm dating myself again, it was before the bypass, so the town was small. You could mountain bike from one end to the other. I was an instructor at Mount Bachelor in the winter, and then I worked at Broken Top Country Club in the summer.
Nice.
And lived right across the street in the condos. It was just an amazing time for me. And then from there,
it's one of those places you don't ever want to leave when you go there, right?
Yeah.
It's like Central Coast, really.
Well, for me, I loved it, but it wasn't really on the way to anything. Mm-hmm. So I moved to Tahoe. You could get to Sacramento, you could get to Reno, you could get around. So I was there for years. And
you are stranded
clubs,
in Bend.
A bunch of stuff. You're there. It's destination. But then I found this place. I came up through Santa Barbara and got off in Buellton, and I remember getting off thinking I could spend the rest of my life right here. Mm-hmm. And fell in love with it. And that was about 7, 8, it's got to be longer than that, 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. And ended up in Napomo for a bit. And we had, at the time, I had started a renovation business. We were renovating golf courses all over the country, doing inoculating soils with microbiology. This really cool technology these guys are doing. But anyway, which landed me in Napomo. A serendipitous moment landed me at Zaca Creek on the day that I was supposed to, the last day, the only day that they had, this golf course was closed, the city bought the course, and then they had a mandatory meeting, and I just happenstance pulled into the parking lot the day of the meeting. Mm-hmm. And the rest is kind of history.
Was the plan from the city to shut down the course?
The course had been closed for a few years. These courses, typically, they build courses to sell real estate. They build the golf course, they sell the real estate, the golf course is left to fend for itself. Only a small percentage of the homeowners actually play golf at the course, so not that many, not enough to support it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of courses, and I'm not, just all over the place, not just here, but a lot of courses really struggle because there's too many courses built for the wrong reasons, etc. So the city, they buy the property along the river, including the golf course, and in my opinion, it was a good idea to purchase the property. Comes with a second water source, etc. But also it helps to kind of stabilize the area, the real estate values. This was sort of a fire hazard. Somebody starts a fire in the river, it marches right across this dead golf course up to these houses. So the city stepped in and bought the property, but the danger there is that if the city's left to run the golf course and they don't have the experience, it's easy for the expenses to spiral out of control, and the taxpayers end up picking the bill on that. So what we did is we arranged a lease off of the city so that they're able to get some revenue back without putting out the expense of maintaining like a park, for instance, et cetera. So we purchase the equipment, we run the golf course, and then we pay them a rent.
Especially at the time after the course has been closed for a couple of years, and word of mouth in the world of golf is pretty much everything. Wasn't that a bit of a gamble on your behalf and your dad's behalf?
Well, really it is at an 18-hole level. Those courses are just too big to sustain. But an executive level, there's a bigger demographic. There are more people that have the time to play. The prices are reasonable. It's not intimidating. It's a fun place to come and hang out and listen to music. And it's just I think you have a better chance of covering your costs at a course like this than you do at an 18-hole course. And historically, it's been the case for us. We've had 3 other facilities, and all of them, the bigger the course, the bigger the clubhouse, the harder it is to maintain.
You mentioned the executive course and the easy management of the executive course. Having been around executive courses, do you feel like the last few years, it seems like everybody has less time on their hands. Do you feel like the last few years you have seen more play at a course such as yours as you pay attention to the industry, as opposed to where it was at in, it's cliche, but the Tiger Woods era, where people were trying to go out and play 18-hole golf courses left and right? The boom, I guess, if you will.
Well, it's funny. I'd never played an executive course. I'd never really been around par threes. And then a family friend of ours is a designer and a fantastic man named Pete Dye. And he, several years ago, had said, we're starting to see these shifts in the industry, et cetera, et cetera. And as we would go to the national PGA shows and to the GCSA shows, we started to see the one percenters, the high-end private country clubs, are always going to be fine, it seems like. Those guys that can absorb the cost and stay on top. The ones in the middle, the $100 18-hole difficult tournament courses, those guys really, really struggle, I think, just to kind of compete and stay in there. So they end up with coupons and deals and all that stuff. So it was always a difficult thing. Now,
what's wrong with the coupon and the deal?
Well, the problem.
It's a big part of what I do, Mike.
That's not. No. What you do, and this is the reason we're such a fan of what you do, is that it's very straightforward. It's a great deal. You buy the card, you go, you bang the. They come in here. Typically, maybe they've never been here before. It's perfect for us. So, I personally don't spend money in the advertising end of things, because I believe every $300 we have should go to making the greens better.
Right.
So I want the course to be the best that it can be. So we've just top dressed again today. That sand costs money, et cetera, et cetera. So you stepped in and filled a big side for us. So that's not exactly what I'm talking about. What happens is one of the local 18-hole courses will, let's say Tuesday afternoon's their slow day. They'll say you can play 18 holes with a cart for $22. That becomes the benchmark. Then everybody comes in here and says, wait a minute, $20, I can play over there on Tuesdays. And so that becomes the back and forth that starts to erode the kind of structure that has to happen for these courses to survive. Now, what we've seen is in the pro shops, big stores like Titleist used to just sell through golf courses, and then they started selling through Walmarts and all that, and it pretty much took that away from small pro shops. Then, of course, the internet comes in, and it becomes easier for me to purchase through the internet than it is to purchase through my vendors. So I certainly can't blame anybody for doing it, but that's just the nature of the industry and how it's moved. And so for us, we just want to focus on making the greens, the golf course, the best that it can be, and make it a good, family-friendly, good kind of mellow place to hang out. The rest of it will take care of itself. Now, we've seen, I think there's a bigger demographic from guys that are not just men, women, kids, whatever, that are maybe a little intimidated to go to name the course and throw down $100 and spend 5.5 hours and shoot 145 and get angry and storm off and say I'm never coming back and all the stuff that goes with it. And I have some friends that don't own collared shirts. They're like, I'd love to play the game, but you gotta be, I gotta dress up for it? So this is a come as you are. And I think, it's just my opinion, but I think that that's what's missing in the game, is that it's not much fun anymore. It's like flying. It's such a pain to go to the airport, the whole thing.
It's funny that you say that, because I talked to Jay, who runs the pro shop at Avila, which is resort course to the tilt, right? I mean, it's right there on the ocean, and he says the same thing. He says that mid-level, go out, very welcoming atmosphere is what is missing from the world of golf. And I've noticed that the world of golf has had to do some things, and a lot of things very successfully as of late, and that is incorporate alternative reasons to come out to the golf course. What are some of the things that you guys are doing here at Zaca Creek?
Well, we added foot golf, and we do disc golf, but really that was, you have to remember, in my opinion, this property is owned by the taxpayers. So in my opinion, we've taken all of the taxpayers' money, purchased the land, allowed us, luckily, to create jobs for ourselves, because I absolutely love being here. But there's only a very small number of taxpayers that play golf. And so a lot of these people purchase this property and don't really have access or any reason to come down and use it. So we try and open it up for lots of different things. We have the Lotus Club. The car show is going to be here in September. We do all kinds of fundraisers for the right people at the right time, all kinds of cool stuff, like the Meals on Wheels in town. I can't believe those programs need funding. Mm-hmm. It absolutely amazes me that we have to fundraise to feed senior citizens. That's insane to me. So they come out here and they're wonderful people, and it's such a great event. And to be able to be a part of bringing a facility around to use it for that type of thing is in my opinion, worth more than the paycheck. Do
you feel like you are somewhat of a cornerstone for the community here?
I think that's a stretch too.
But it's
you're
cool, aiding in it.
Yeah, it's a cool place to come down, and we can use it for a lot of great things for sure. But the community's here. I think that it just seems like it's disconnected. We don't have, luckily here I meet my neighbors, but today it seems like we don't interact as much as we could. And with these small facilities, it could be great. We could do all kinds of things. We're going to do wine tasting and food pairings and two club scrambles for couples and all kinds of fun things that you could do without really being too golfy. Mm-hmm. Every hole you could have
bachelor parties. Yeah. This thing has a bachelor party because how many people in a bachelor party group actually know how to play golf? And you're going to take them out to an 18-hole course and intimidate them and not make it fun, whereas everybody can come out here and swing a club
and spend a bunch of money.
Yeah,
I go out and you're like, man, I just bought a 6-pack and played golf and it ate up $200, all day. So that's that was hard for me.
Yeah, you guys do a $20 all-day deal, and that's year-round. You come in here when the sun comes up.
Yep.
If you want to go out and play, go grab some lunch, go wine tasting, come back and play in the afternoon. Getting here is a bit of a challenge for anybody who doesn't know where you're at.
Right.
And I thank God for Google Maps because it'll bring you right here. But you're tucked behind that community at the end of the road in Buellton, essentially.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, just what we were talking about earlier. It was built just for the most part to sell these homes. Uh-huh. So it wasn't really built with exposure in mind, in and out, that kind of thing. So Rancho de Maria is the home, the housing tract above the golf course here, and they're wonderful neighbors. Everything's been great here. Don't get me wrong, but it's definitely you don't just pull straight into the golf course. You have to go through the homes, which is. And there's just a couple of small signs, so it can be a little tricky.
So usually on these 19th hole podcasts, we ask the participant to provide their beer of choice for this. Why'd you pick 805 today?
I like 805. Firestone's been good to me. The restaurant over there is great. The beer's been good. People have been really friendly. Fig's been amazing too. They're just on the other side of us. You can't go wrong here. We just actually happen to have more 805 than we had Fig today, so we thought we'd go through that. You stay here long enough and we'll shift gears.
It's not a bad place to have a golf course situated within a short drive or / walking distance.
Terravant's right there. We have all kinds of great things. If you're a wine drinker, it's everywhere.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I'm personally a beer drinker. Anyway,
I get where you're going on that one.
So
there's not much I can contribute to the wine except for I know that they changed the name of the hotel to the Sideways, or the motel with the windmills to the Sideways Inn since the last time I've been down here, and that was a bit of a trip, but. You know what? Fortuitous. You got to take advantage of the situation, I guess.
I can understand.
I'm surprised it took that long.
Right. Well, the RV park bought it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those guys bought it, and they've taken on that whole thing. So yeah, it's kind of a themed thing they have going over there. So yeah, I guess ride it out. That's what I hadn't seen the movie when I first got here, and so that was the first place I stayed when I got to town. She was so excited to tell me about this room, and of course, if you hadn't seen it, I had no reference.
Did you stay in the room that was in the movie?
According to her. That could have been any room.
Oh, you're really going to like this room. I tell you the history behind this room, you're like, yeah, whatever, sure. What was the name of the movie?
Right.
Well, Mike, thanks a lot for having me out today, and thanks a lot for boosting my golf ego after taking a long period of time off. I scored a birdie on number 4. If it was a par 3, it would have been a par.
Man, you know what? Easy with
But
the
it's
details.
nice. It's nice. It's nice to have an ego stroke every once in a while, and we invite everybody to come on out to Zaca Creek Golf Course, either as part of the Central Coast Golf Card or not. I mean, if you just happen to be in the area and you catch this podcast and your friend shared it with you, or you ran across it on Zaca Creek's Facebook page. Now, what we'd like to do in these 19th hole podcasts is reward people that download them, that listen to them, with some sort of a deal.
Okay.
Is there anything that you want to throw out there?
Yeah, let's come up with a keyword, and they'll come out and get a free round of golf.
Okay, what's the keyword?
You got
to leave that on me?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of hoping.
Okay, I literally, I don't know of any other golf course general manager in America, even at the executive level, that would play a round of golf barefoot. And you could do that out here because you save money on the chemicals, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we don't have enough money to spray chemicals.
So the key word is barefoot, and what's the deal you're going to extend to?
Come out and mention barefoot golf, and we'll give you a round of golf out here at Zaca.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. Just complimentary round of golf. Barefoot golf. I heard something about barefoot golf, and people, oh my gosh, you're opening a can of worms here.
Great, bring it on.
You don't know the power. I don't know the power of the 19th hole podcast either. You could get one person show up.
Let's find out.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But thanks a lot.
Grateful for them.
Thanks a lot for being a part of Central Coast Golf Card, and thanks a lot for having us out here, and just a beautiful day. And I don't want to go. I want to stay out here with you all day long.
Did I got an extra room? Real quick though, I do want to say, please, and I'm not just trying to push this because he's sitting here, but buy the card. It helps a lot, man. It's a big deal to little courses like us. We absolutely have to have it. I don't care about a lot of the coupons and the discounts and the deals around. This is a totally different thing for guys like us. Please go out and buy the card, participate in it. We would love to have you out here. We need it.
Right. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for joining us today, or joining me, I guess. I'm so used to the other job. Mike, and thanks for the hospitality. We really appreciate it.
Man, we love having you.
The 19th Hole Podcast is a production of American General Media and CentralCoastGolfCard.com. All rights reserved. This podcast and any portion of this podcast may not be published, broadcast, rewritten, or redistributed, in whole or part, without the express written permission of American General Media or CentralCoastGolfCard.com. The 19th Hole Podcast is hosted by Jeff Kingman and can be found wherever you listen to podcasts. Now, go play some golf.